people have a real fear that our system is broken, and this just gives them more fuel to that fire. How could you sit here and watch that and say that our system isn't broken? This judge just showed that. This is a problem. This is a huge problem, and I think this needs to be addressed down in Austin immediately.
Mr. Brissett.
Your Honor, I believe Mr. Mata has graced us with his presence. We ask that he be sworn in and put under the rule.
Is there a Mr. Mata in the courtroom? You can stand right there at the rail for me, please, sir. Raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm testimony given this cause to be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, self be God.
I don't know what this is
Hey,
about.
Judge, may we approach?
I don't understand what's going on.
I'm swearing you in as a witness. So,
Under what authority, sir?
all right, jury, go to the jury room. Everyone may be seated. Mr. Mata? Is your name Manuel Mata?
Yes, sir.
Your date of birth is 7/8 of 1980.
Yes, sir.
All right. I have issued you an oath to testify truthfully. Are you going to take that oath?
I have a question, sir.
No. Are you going to take that oath?
No.
All right. You are on bond on some cases. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Those bonds are being declared insufficient, Sheriff.
For what, sir? What's going on? What did I do? I need my lawyer present, sir.
We will get your lawyer.
You questioned me without a lawyer present. And I don't know what y'all are doing. I don't know what's going on. For what? For what? I asked him a question. I don't have no knowledge of this case. And I just wanted to know who's asking for me to be sworn in. The DA, the defense, the judge, who's asking it? Those are questions I need answers if you're gonna revoke me. You ain't gotta be aggressive when you do.
Let me see the lawyers.
Yeah, we can't.
It's gotta be awesome.
Wow. Justin?
I have never seen this. Completely unprecedented, and this judge is allowing this case to turn into a clown show. He's arresting citizens in the courtroom just for being there. I mean, I get it. The defense, they want to swear these folks in without real reason. I mean,
Yeah, they're not intending. Are they really going to call these people?
I mean, that's the ploy. That's the ploy they've been using for the past few days. But the judge should have caught on to that. And now they're forcing this judge to arrest folks in the courtroom. This is absolutely insane.
I don't think I've ever seen something like that. I mean, well, now for the second time, and now we've got somebody arrested.
Wow.
What's the potential constitutional issues here?
I mean, you got First Amendment issues here, right? You got unlawful imprisonment. I mean, this is completely and utterly insane.
You know, actually, take a look at Aaron Dean. I mean, look at that, an actual emotion. Now,
Well, I think he's just blowing his nose.
No, he was showing actual emotion. He was. Okay, so, wow, folks, for those of you who have been with us and are just joining us, what we just saw was, well, this was actually the second time today that we had someone that was in the courtroom that the defense decided they suddenly wanted to swear in. The first person was, remind me his name?
Anthony Lazon.
Okay, you know him, he's a
I know
well-known
Anthony.
activist. I didn't get the impression they were doing anything inappropriate in court.
They weren't.
And so the defense all of a sudden says, "Oh, we want to swear that person in." And earlier they initially had asked for this guy, but he wasn't present. And so when the judge went to swear him in, he says, "Well, I have a question. Like, why am I being sworn in?"
Exactly. And I think that's a valid question. You just show up to the courtroom to be supportive, to be engaged in the civil discourse in your county, and you get arrested. You get accosted. You get asked questions. You get asked to be sworn in for no reason. And when you try to ask for clarification as to why you're being sworn in, you get arrested.
I'm sorry, I have a problem with this.
Oh,
I have a problem with this.
I mean, this is a huge problem, and I think this judge should be. I mean, he should be investigated for this decision. No judge should be doing this to anyone that shows up to a courtroom.
Is this going to generate judicial complaints? I mean, because it feels
should.
really problematic.
There should be some judicial complaints.
I understand that there is a right to swear people in, but isn't there some notion that they're actually going to be called to testify?
I think what should have happened, and the state could have stepped in too and put an end to this, right? They could have told the judge, sidebar, let's talk about these witnesses they want to get sworn in for frivolous reasons. Someone should have stepped in when they saw this being a very nasty trend, but no one didn't, and now we have someone in the back of that courthouse in handcuffs being arrested.
They just
They held his bond insufficient. So he has to come back to court for another hearing on his bonds being held insufficient. This is absolutely insane.
Somebody's saying clearly we don't know Mr. Mata. No, I don't know Manuel Mata.
But we don't need to. We just saw what happened.
We don't need to. We just saw what happened.
Whoever said that in the comments is an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, look, if they're truly intending to call him as a witness, but obviously if they were intending to call him as a witness, he'd be on a list, right?
Exactly. I mean, this is just absolutely insane. I mean, I think the defense saw that their case was running away from them, and they needed to resort to hijinks to try their best to salvage whatever strategy they had.
Yeah, so I'm kind of Googling this Manuel Mata. He is some kind of activist. Looks like he has some kind of YouTube page. So he's an activist.
All irrelevant. This shouldn't have happened to him.
Yeah. I mean, we people do have a God-given right in this country to be activists.
What is the end goal of the strategy?
Yeah. What are they trying to accomplish here?
At this point, I don't know. I mean, these are folks that have no knowledge of the facts of this case. These weren't going to be witnesses to Mr. Dean's character. They were just sitting in the courtroom. The state had finished presenting their evidence for punishment.
Yeah, I don't understand this. I mean, I get that tensions are high. We've been aware that there have been threats made against Dean and his defense team, and frankly, I saw the footage of people yelling at Dean's family yesterday, and I'm sorry, I found that appalling. They did not do this, and that shouldn't happen. But
this shouldn't happen either.
Two wrongs don't make a right. And this is like judicial action right here. This is like action.
This is a judge. I mean, people yelling out slurs is one thing, but in a courtroom you have a judge locking up citizens for just being in a courtroom.
Well, folks have been bringing something up, and so I'm going to bring this up. Judge Gallagher, and this really pains me because I actually really like Judge Gallagher. There was an incident. He actually got disciplined by the State Judicial Conduct Commission. All right, I'm going to have to pull this up, folks. I got to find it. It had to do with someone being, I got to find this. Sorry. I'm trying to find the story, guys, real quick. But there was an incident. Ryan, do you know about that incident? I'm trying to find it. There was an incident.
It was the shock.
Okay, here we go. Justice Department. Here we go. Sorry, guys. Trying to find this. Fort Worth Star Telegram has like a thing and on their deal.
Paywall.
Like a paywall. Gosh, I know why they have it, but it's killing me. But there was an incident And like I said, I really like this judge, and I get it. He's frustrated. He's been frustrated. That's why he's the contempt orders, and I mean, they're with these other situations. I get there's a lot of
Don't take your
frustration.
frustration out on citizens.
No.
Everyone has a right to be in a courtroom.
Well, anyway, I'm trying to find. Are you going to send me a Texas Tribune story? Okay, so. All right, Ryan, who is amazing, has found a story that I can actually take a look at real quick, guys. But we're all just kind of in the newsroom.
I'm floored.
Really just floored by this turn of events. I mean, we have a picture back up in the courtroom. In the Geiger trial, we had hugs and Bibles, and now we have
arrests and handcuffs and
contempt. I mean, this is
encroachments on First Amendment liberties.
Yeah, last I checked, we still have First Amendment rights in this country. And,
Wow.
All people should have those
Wow.
rights observed, regardless of whether we like them or not. Okay, so I'm pulling up this story, folks. Here we go. Okay, Ryan. Okay, so the headline is, this is the Texas Tribune. Actually, I'll put this story in the chat, folks, so that for those of you that are following our feed, there's the story. So this judge, again, who I actually really like. This is actually kind of hard. So basically, back in 2016, he ordered electric shocks to silence a man on trial, and that conviction was thrown out. It says in Tarrant County, defendants are sometimes strapped with a stun belt around their legs. The devices are used to deliver a shock in the event the person gets violent or attempts to escape. But in the case of Terry Lee Morris, the device was used as punishment for refusing to answer a judge's questions properly during his 2016 trial on charges of soliciting sexual performance from a 15-year-old girl. It says that the judge shocked Morris 3 times, sending thousands of volts coursing through his body. It scared him so much that Morris never returned for the remainder of his trial and almost all of his sentencing hearing. Again, I'm reading the Texas Tribune story here. The action stunned the Texas 8th Court of Appeals in El Paso, too. It has now thrown out Morris's conviction on the grounds that the shocks ordered by State District Judge George Gallagher and Morris's subsequent removal from the courtroom violated his constitutional rights. Since he was too scared to come back to the courtroom, the court held that the shocks effectively barred him from attending his own trial, in violation of the Constitution's 6th Amendment, which guarantees a defendant's right to be present and confront witnesses during a trial. And it goes on, basically says, the appeals court found judges are not allowed to shock defendants in their courtrooms just because they won't answer questions, the court said, or because they fail to follow the court's rules of decorum. Obviously, we didn't have stun belts here, but do you see any parallels, Justin?
I do. I mean, what the judge should have done is kick this man out of the courtroom, not arrest him. He wasn't there via subpoena. He wasn't subpoenaed to be there and refused to take an oath. He showed up under his own volition to be a part of the process. And this is what I really hate about this. People have a real fear that our system is broken. And this just gives them more fuel to that fire. How could you sit here and watch that and say that our system isn't broken? This judge just showed that. This is a problem. This is a huge problem. And I think this needs to be addressed down in Austin immediately. No judge should be doing this with citizens.
Stand by. We have a picture, guys.